We all think of breathing as, well, automatic. It's just something our body does without us even thinking about it. But what if I told you it's not just a function, it's actually a skill? A skill that, frankly, most of us aren't very good at, but that every single one of us can get better at. So let's dive in.
Okay, so first up, a quick question for you. Just take a guess. How many times does this whole breathing thing happen for you? Every single day. Any idea what that number might be? Get this. The answer is over 20,000. That's more than 20,000 opportunities every single day to fuel your body with what it needs to thrive. I mean, the sheer volume is just staggering when you really stop and think about it.
And that really brings us to the whole point of this explainer. What if you could improve the quality of those 20,000 plus breaths? What if each and every one could be more efficient, more effective? Let's figure out how.
All right, so first things first, we need to understand the fundamentals. How is this incredible machine inside of us supposed to work when everything's running just right? Well, it all starts with one single powerhouse muscle.
And that muscle is the diaphragm. See, in a healthy system, this big dome-shaped muscle that sits right below your lungs does about 80% of all the heavy lifting. It contracts to pull air in, and it relaxes to push the waste gas out. It's literally the engine of your entire respiratory system.
I love this analogy from respiratory therapist Mark Courtney. He says healthy lungs are springy. Think of an old screen door with a good spring on it. It just opens and shuts almost on its own. That's the kind of natural elasticity we're talking about. But, sometimes that spring can get a little worn out.
So what happens when that machine isn't running so smoothly? Well, there are a couple of really common ways our breathing mechanics can start to go wrong, and that leads to that awful, frustrating feeling of being short of breath. It usually boils down to one of two big problems. The first one is that trapped stale air issue. That's when your lungs lose that springiness we were talking about. Old air gets stuck in there, and there's just less room for fresh, good air to come in. The second problem is something called chronic hyperventilation, which basically means overbreathing, and that creates an issue for a completely different reason. And this is where things get really weird, because it creates this totally backward cycle. You feel like you can't get enough air, so what's your instinct? To breathe more, right? But that overbreathing actually lowers the carbon dioxide in your blood. And here's the wild part. CO2 isn't just waste. It actually helps keep your airways open. So when your CO2 levels drop, your body panics and tightens those airways to hold on to it, which of course only makes you feel more breathless. It's a vicious cycle where the thing you think is the cure actually becomes the cause. But here's the good news. We are not stuck. We can actually break these cycles. There are simple, really powerful exercises we can learn to basically retrain our bodies to breathe the right way. So let's open up the toolkit. All right, first up, pursed lip breathing. The whole key here is that long, slow exhale, breathing out for at least twice as long as you breathe in. This super simple trick helps keep your airways open longer, which gives your body a chance to finally clear out all that trapped, stale air and make room for the good stuff.
Okay, next up is belly breathing. This one is all about getting that main engine, the diaphragm, back on the job. By putting a hand on your belly and focusing on making it rise and fall instead of your chest, you're retraining that crucial muscle to do the work it was designed to do. This takes all the strain off those smaller, less efficient muscles in your neck and chest. And then you've got the Buteyko method, which gives us 4 simple lifestyle laws to fight that overbreathing habit. For instance, just by keeping your mouth closed, you're forced to breathe through your nose, which naturally slows everything down. And keeping your back straight, that just makes sure your diaphragm has plenty of room to move freely. Each one of these is designed to gently fix those unconscious habits that get us into that hyperventilation cycle. So, all of this sounds great, right? But here's the million-dollar question. Does this stuff actually work? Can you really change your body's physiology just by practicing how you breathe? Well, let's take a look at the science.
A 2022 study decided to find out. Researchers took a group of 30 healthy young adults and had them practice a type of breathwork for just 20 minutes a day over 8 weeks. And they measured their lung function at the very beginning, then at the 4-week mark, and again at the end. And the results were, well, they were pretty dramatic. Their total lung capacity, that's the total amount of air they could blow out, shot up from an average of about 3.4 liters to over 4 liters in just 8 weeks. They literally increased the size and capacity of their lungs just through practice.
And get this, it wasn't just about how much air they could hold, it was about power too. The speed at which they could exhale also improved significantly. So their breathing didn't just get bigger, it actually got stronger. I mean, the evidence is pretty clear. Okay, so the science is there, the evidence is compelling. The only question now is, how do you actually start? How can you take all this and apply it to your own 20,000 breaths today? All right, let's just boil this all down. Number 1, your diaphragm is your breathing engine. Number 2, when it's not working right, you either get trapped stale air or you get stuck in that hyperventilation cycle. But, and this is the big one, simple exercises can totally retrain your body. And consistent practice leads to real, measurable improvements. It's a skill you can build. Now, this next part is super important, okay? This is a crucial piece of advice. Do not wait until you're already feeling breathless to try these exercises. Practice them when you're calm. You're building muscle memory here. Just start with 5 or 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes to begin. Think about it. Over 20,000 times a day, you get a fresh start, a chance to reset, to re-energize, to just be present. So the only question left is, how are you going to use them?